Welcome back to another tabletop review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Savage Arms Stevens Model 87A22 rifle. It's a project gun. This is the Stevens Model 87A22 rifle, American made by Savage Arms Corporation about 70 years ago. Because this is also a restoration video, through the magic of video editing, here's the same gun after the work was completed. I think it turned out pretty good considering. I've worked on worse, but this rifle did have some rough areas. I'll walk you through the process I used to bring this old rifle back to what it used to look like originally in a moment. But first, now if you're only interested in the restoration process, you can skip ahead to about 1250 or even better. Move on to my YouTube playlist, episode 2023-24, in which I focus on the bluing process using birchwood super blue. Otherwise, stick with me in this video as I give a comprehensive overview of the Stevens 87A, as well as restore this sad-looking .22 rifle. Let's take a closer look at this rifle before restoration and talk a little bit about the Stevens Model 87A .22 rifle. It's a semi-automatic rifle that has a few unique characteristics, sometimes nicknamed the gill gun because of the vent slits here. The Model 87A was designed to fire 22 shorts, 22 standard, and 22 long rifle rounds. It can be fired in single or, when firing 22 long rifle rounds, in semi-automatic mode. It also has a distinctive action which, when in semi-automatic mode, the action stays open after a shot has been fired until the trigger is released. This makes a characteristic click-clack sound for which these guns are known. Although mostly worn off, note that the very end of the wood forend here was painted black. I know that some high-end custom-made rifles actually have ebony wood forend tips, so I think the dipped black paint end on this rifle was added to mimic that look and was an original feature on some of these rifles. These guns were made by Savage Arms Corporation beginning in 1938. Based on its markings, you can see the alpha date code here of B. This one dates back to 1950. Here's a 1946 magazine ad for the Stevens 87A. Note that the 780A in the upper portion of this 1946 ad does not have that black forend paint, and most of the ones I've seen on the internet do not either. I'm not sure why some, like this one, did. The Stevens 87A was from Savage Arms' economy line of rifles. As I understand, the Stevens rifle was also made for Montgomery Ward, known as the Wards Western Field Model 87A, which had a simulated wood plastic stock. Savage Arms also produced a Springfield 87A. Basically, the 87A appears to be a sturdy, rugged, versatile .22 rifle. Let's make sure this gun is cleared first. And by the way, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The Stevens, Springfield, and Wards Western Field 87A were basically the same semi-automatic, tubular-fed .22 rimfire rifle that was manufactured by Savage Arms. The rifle was designed to fire a .22 long rifle, standard, and short rounds. The rifle is a bolt-action repeater, semi-auto, and single shot, all in one gun. It has gills milled on the left side of the bolt, which holds the bolt back on auto until you release the trigger. Some of the Springfield 87 versions came equipped with a Weaver C6 scope. You can see the dummy screws here on this Stevens, which would have allowed for a side mount scope. The magazine tube is brass. The barrel, loading tube, and receiver are steel. The stock is wood on this Stevens. And as I said earlier, the stock on the Wards Western Field Model 87A was simulated wood plastic. The overall weight is 6 pounds. The overall length is 44 inches, with a barrel length of about 24 inches. This .22 rifle came to me from a friend who hoped I could get it working and clean it up a bit. This is obviously the gun before I began working on it. It's a little rough. As you can see, the barrel, loading tube, and receiver are rusted and badly pitted in areas. Much of the trigger guard paint is missing here. But the stock isn't too bad and the action appears to work as it should. However, I'm told that too many rounds won't fire. When I first got it, I tried to fire a Federal long rifle 22 round without any luck, so something is indeed wrong. It could be that the firing pin or striker is worn or damaged, or the striker spring is worn out. Everything looks okay to my eye, but I'll check it out before I begin any restoration. I mean, what's the point if the gun doesn't work? Let's start field stripping the gun. First, we'll unscrew the takedown screw here and remove the stock. Then we'll unscrew the recoil plug. The recoil spring with its plunger and firing pin or striker is next. Remove the locking bolt handle from the breech bolt. Then the breech bolt, which takes a little fiddling sometimes to remove. That's as far as we need to go. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick visual inspection here to see if anything's broken or is there anything that doesn't look right. As far as I can tell, everything seems okay so far. Let's take a closer look at the firing pin. You know, for a 70-year-old gun, it actually looks in perfect shape to me. I hadn't expected that. But the parts are all dirty and dry, no oil. I've given the gun a good basic cleaning and checked out what I could during field stripping. The internal mechanism was dirty, but everything else seemed to be working as it should. The barrel looks good, not bad for a cheap, neglected 75-year-old 22 rifle. And I've been told that the owner doesn't even own a cleaning kit for this gun. No oiling, no cleaning. But he shot the gun regularly on his farm until recently. Absolutely amazing. The Stevens 87A was one from Savage Arms economy line. It is still a testament to the design and quality that Stevens Arms put into the manufacturing of these guns. When I began to check this gun out, I inserted a spent 22 shell casing and pulled the trigger to be able to inspect the strike on the shell's rim. It seemed weak to me. Although a little better, even after initial cleaning and oiling, the strike still seemed weak. So I cleaned, did a light polishing on areas of contact, and liberally oiled everything again. The test strike was better and continued to improve as I worked the action. The only thing left is for me to get it to the range and try it out with live fire. By the way, the action needs to be open on this gun before loading the magazine tube with rounds. Otherwise, rounds will jam in the mechanism. Note the way the bolt has to be closed and drawn back and closed again to load a round. First, to bring a round out of the loading tube into the loading port of the receiver, and second, to move the round into the chamber. At the range, I'm trying to run a few rounds of good clean ammo through the gun. I'm using Federal Target and Range 22 long rifle ammo and CCI mini mags. Let's see if I can get it to act up. I'm firing in semi-automatic mode. My concern is for the action. Starting out with a couple of rounds of Federal 22 long rifle, will the gun fire and will the action cycle? or will it jam? Very nice. I think it's working like it should, so let's load up some CCI mini mags. When fired, holding the trigger back will hold the bolt back. Releasing the trigger will release the bolt. As far as I can tell, this rifle is running like it should. I even have some CCI 22 shorts to try out. This gun is supposed to run 22 shorts with the bolt locked. Well, everything seems to be working flawlessly now, so let's talk about what I see as cons and pros of this gun before we move on to cleaning this rifle up. Other than its low value, the other issue I have with the Stevens 87A is that the action on this gun is a little unusual and can be severely jammed if rounds are loaded with the action closed. That's because the mechanism that lifts rounds into the gun's loading chamber blocks the rounds until needed when the action is open. However, this lifter mechanism can allow more than one round to slide into the area under the chamber when loading if the action is closed. 2 rounds at a time will cause the whole mechanism to jam and also block the bolt closing, making and clearing the jam very difficult. The fact that the Stevens 87 was designed to handle 22 long rifle, standard, and short rounds is certainly a positive, but not unique, although there are plenty of 22 rifles that can also shoot 22 short rounds, like the Winchester 67 bolt action. Basically, as long as the cartridge is properly fed into the chamber, any rifle designed for a 22 long rifle will also safely shoot a 22 short cartridge. Although most 22 semi-automatics firing 22 shorts just won't cycle due to insufficient power. But the Stevens 87 is a semi-automatic when using 22 long rifle and can be locked and work like a bolt action when firing 22 shorts. The action is solid, and as old as it is, the parts for this gun are still available and reasonably priced through Numerich. For the money, this is actually a pretty good, reliable old 22 rifle. Moving on to restoration, my plan was to deal with the bluing first. I think that's the most important part of the restoration. I began with cleaning the metal with birchwood cleaner degreaser. Next, I stripped the old bluing and rust off the gun using birchwood blue and rust remover. And that was just to get started. I relied on Birchwood KC Super Blue, a cold bluing product which I've had pretty good luck with in the past. But you can see that this gun had some pretty rough areas where the pitting was so deep. I warned this gun owners that some of the pitting may remain. In some cases it can't be helped if the pitting has been allowed to become severe. I used wet or dry sandpaper to start with, beginning with 80 grit paper on the roughest areas. 80 grit is pretty aggressive stuff, but it needed it. Then I used progressively lighter grit until I was down to fine 3000 grit paper, and I finished up with 0000 steel wool. When I had the surface to my liking, I applied the Birchwood KC Super Blue as directed, except I found that I get the best results if I leave the bluing on for as long as there's a reaction, rather than just the 30 seconds before rinsing with water and fine steel wool. I repeated this process 3 times. Looks better. The final step I took was to apply oil to the surface and allow it to soak overnight to cure the bluing. I think it turned out very good. What do you think? The stock itself was actually in pretty good shape. No big gouges or scratches. All I did was some light sanding. I wasn't trying for perfection, just removing what was left of the old finish. These nicks are part of the history, so I left them. Since the stock was blonde originally, I just applied 3 coats of clear satin polyurethane to seal the wood. As for the trigger guard, after sanding, All that was left to do was apply a bit of black enamel paint. And while I was at it, I added black paint to the stock's forend to replicate the original detail. Now a good question might be, what's this gun worth? That is the sad part, I'm afraid. This Stevens 87A has a current value of between $50 and $150. In like new condition, it might be worth up to $150. Now I will say that I saw an Idaho ad listing one for $325, but I think it's an outlier. In my neighborhood recently, a fairly nice looking one sold in a garage sale for $110, and that's pretty much what I've seen. Here's an Ohio ad for one with a scope selling for $120. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. The other way to look at it is that you might see one in the future, and now you know it's probably worth taking a look at. For the money, honestly, I think the Stevens 87A could be a really nice little .22 rifle. Now before we end today's video, I'd like to remind you that if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe down below. And thanks for watching. Well, in summary, we started off with a .22 rifle that was pretty rough looking and more often than not wouldn't fire. I've been told that this Stevens 87A is a family firearm. It was originally bought by the owner's father back in the 1950s. After 70 years, it's finally stopped reliably working, and the years of neglect were really showing. We've gotten it working again and even cleaned it up. Although this old Stevens 87A .22 rifle isn't really worth all that much in dollars today, its value is priceless to this family as a legacy firearm. And restored as it is now, the good news is that it should easily last another generation. Any weapon you carry is better than the one you left at home. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll be back for my next tabletop review. Until next time, stay safe.